My name is Steven, and I have IgA nephropathy. When someone asks what IgAN is, I usually tell them it's a rare autoimmune disease that affects your kidneys. There's not really any known cure for it, so it's just kind of a disease you have to manage. I experienced a lot of symptoms that I kind of dismissed for just life, I guess. Headaches, fatigue. I did have high cholesterol, which was odd, obviously, but the doctors didn't really think it was anything like that, like an autoimmune disease. I had high blood pressure as it progressed. I think the biggest thing was my exercise ability really declined. I was a college athlete. I played baseball, ran cross country in college, and I kept running post-college. And I noticed that my times would get slower and slower. It was harder to go longer distances. I would get really bad cramps in my legs. And I was just thought, you're an athlete, you fight through it, you just push through it. But, I guess looking back, I realized that I was just running my body into the ground, and that was probably the worst thing I could have done. I was actually out running, and I started to feel really sick. So I came home, and I was feeling very dehydrated, and I was drinking water, drinking Gatorade, none of it helped. And then I started to feel just like I lost control of my body, basically. The room was spinning. I tried to come back to my senses. I couldn't at all. And I started to feel this terrible pain in my stomach. Can't even really describe it, but I just lost control of how my body felt. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And I passed out, and I smashed my right eye on a dumbbell in my room. I was trying to get to my bed to pass out, but I didn't make it. Smashed my eye on a dumbbell. I was out for 10 minutes, woke up, drove myself to the hospital, and they started running a bunch of tests. And at first the doctors just thought it was dehydration. But then the more tests they did, the nephrologist was very concerned. He said your kidneys are functioning at 20%. He wanted to run a biopsy to determine if it was either acute or chronic kidney disease. So he ran the biopsy, came back the next day, told me that it was chronic. My kidneys were all scarred up, and they were barely hanging on, basically. And that's when I got diagnosed officially with IgA nephropathy. So he said, the best we can hope for is to delay this as much as we can and maybe get a transplant. He said, you're not going to get one right away. He said, wait times can be, there's no telling. My transplant was almost 2 years after my first diagnosis. The disease was very, very progressed. And the doctor was I'm getting really nervous here. We're going to have to start dialysis. But fortunately, my wife was a match, and so she volunteered to be a donor. The transplant, it gave me a life that I didn't think I would have. And it made me courageous. It made me a lot stronger mentally. It completely changed the way that I looked at life. It's hard to even believe that it happened. Honestly, I feel like a ghost living in a life that I shouldn't be a part of anymore. But I am here, so I'm blessed, and I just try to do as much as I can in this life while I can. It was brutal, honestly. It was the hardest thing I've ever faced personally. Just knowing there's no cure, knowing that, once kidney function is gone, it's gone forever if it's chronic. I just kept telling myself something's gonna happen, a miracle's gonna happen. I told myself, wake up every day and just believe. And if you're gonna have this disease, be the strongest, be the bravest person that you can be with this disease. Don't stop what you're doing. Don't stop working out. Don't stop, fixing your diet and trying to fight this thing anyways, even though it's an infightable fight, basically. But you kind of just have to believe to keep your own sanity, I think, or at least for me. It wears on you over time, day after day. It's very hard hanging out with my peers and my friends because nobody really knew what I was going through, and it was hard to talk about. I tried to explain my disease to my friends. Basically, I have kidney failure, and there's no cure. There's no coming back, first of all, because that's the first thing they would ask. Are you doing better? are you gonna be better soon? And I had to be very definitive, there is no coming back from this. After telling a few friends, I kind of just stopped talking about it because I was like, it's just not relatable. It's not anyone else's problem, but that made it that much harder. Occasionally someone would understand if they had a family member with a disease similar, or they would understand it better, and they could kind of see it a little from a different lens. But yeah, it was a challenge, very difficult. I remember even in college and at work, I couldn't make it through a whole day without feeling just dead tired. And I needed a nap halfway through every day. And it's easy to dismiss that as that's just life. Everyone's tired. Deal with it, basically. It's just knowing you have this chronic disease, knowing where it's progressing, where it's going, where it's been. It's scary. It's always a fear in the back of your mind, because you're always afraid that now I'm well, rejection could come, it could flare up again. Before my transplant, it was very difficult because, every couple weeks, every couple months, depending on what stage I was in, your blood tests either stay the same or get a little bit worse. And so psychologically, it was torture. Honestly, it was torture. When you tell someone you have kidney disease, kidney failure, there's obviously a lot of negatives. That's what everyone goes to first. But the positives, I think, are very strong as well. I wouldn't be doing half the things I would be doing now if I didn't go through this experience. I'd choose not to have this if I could, but it has just changed my whole perspective on life. I'm not afraid to I guess talk about more personal things with people, and you got to make the most of every day. You have this incredible chance now, and you don't really have a lot to fear left once you kind of looked death in the face and survived. I remember the doctor saying hey, there's 25% chance you're not going to live in the next couple years, and that's pretty scary to hear. So just just think my mindset now is just make things happen, go for it, don't let fear hold you back for anything, and just go as big as you can and be the best that you can be. Not achieving what I hope to achieve in life, not reaching my goals, my potential. I do remember one thought I had as I was passing out when I was obviously going through kidney failure is, I can't die yet. I haven't done enough. And so I think that's being hit with your mortality, knowing you have a limited time on this earth. That's the thing that I'm fearful of the most. Obviously, I'm afraid of rejection. At any point that could happen. You catch a cold or you catch the flu and you miss a couple doses of your medication and you're at high risk. I try not to think about the fears. I'm consciously aware so I can take the right action, but I try not to live in fear if I can. I think you're doing amazing work. I'm so happy there are people that, are dedicating their lives to researching this. And I hope that people will start to get diagnosed a lot sooner, and it'll prevent a lot of people from going through kidney failure. Obviously with my personal experience, it's very close to my heart, this disease, and so it would be a game changer. It'd be a life changer, and I think it would open up just a lot of other possibilities, and honestly save a lot of lives. Crazy belief that just life is gonna be incredible, life is gonna be amazing. I've already decided it. There's no doubt anymore. It's not up for debate. It's happening. And that I truly believe anything is possible. And I don't mean that arrogantly or that's just genuinely what I believe in life. And it gives me hope.